Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Robby Foley, the co-driver of the number 96 Turner Motorsport BMW, of course, with Bill Alberlin, the 96 car. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me.
Doing good. It's going to be the GT show out there and out in Lime Rock, and you're going to be a pretty busy kid because, of course, you got Michelin Pilot Challenge. Of course, you run in the GS category as well as, of course, running GTD for Turner Motorsport with Bill Alberlin. How busy of a day is it going to be because of the condensed schedule for Lime Rock due to no racing on Sundays out in Connecticut?
Yeah, it's intense. Everything happens very fast. We arrive Thursday night for practice Friday morning, and we basically practice GS, practice GTD back to back, and then qualifying shortly after that, and then 2 races again, literally back to back. So pretty much driving the whole time, which is good fun. Sometimes the temperature there makes it a little bit difficult. It can be very hot in Lime Rock, but yeah, it's my home race for the team as well. So always nice to go back home, and looking forward to the challenge.
You mentioned that it's your home race. Of course, this is Turner Motorsports' home race as well. Obviously, is there a lot of pressure on you to perform well at this racetrack?
I would say there's always pressure, right? But yeah, we have a lot of local fans. I have some friends and family that will be there, and the team has a lot of local fans as well. So I always want to do well for them. But if we're honest, we're all putting pressure on ourselves to do well at every race. But yeah, to win at home in a way would be very special. So hopefully we can get to the podium and get a victory for all of our local fans.
So how do you think this year is going for you guys?
So far it's been pretty good. We started off with a decent Daytona. We didn't have anything go terribly wrong, but we didn't have anything go terribly right. We had a solid finish at Daytona. Sebring, unfortunately, we had a failure early on, so we finished 12th. So after the first 2 races, we were sort of down in the points, but we came back strong and won at Mid-Ohio. Then won the 6 hours of Watkins Glen. Had a good Detroit race going, just didn't go very well. So at the end with the mechanical, and then we also had another mechanical in Watkins Glen for the sprint race. So in the full season championship, we're looking good. We're leading that championship. But the sprint championship's not looking as strong just because of those poor races at Detroit and the second race at Watkins Glen. So I would say we know our car very well, and the team's operating at a very high level. It's just about executing here at Lime Rock in the next following couple of races to try to keep it at the top of the points.
Of course, we didn't run at Lime Rock last year because of COVID. But how good does it feel to be back there again, 2 years later?
Yeah, it's special. It's historically been a decent track for us, and I think, yeah, with a BMW, you're always going to have a great handling car, which you need at such a short track, short, tight, twisty track like Lime Rock. I think you get a little bit of everything there, even though it's a very short track. You have kind of high speed corners, but also medium to low speed in some places in the chicane. So it's definitely action packed. The racing is very tough. And it's a very unique track, probably one of the most unique tracks in the world. Only one left-hand corner, mostly all rights. So that makes the setup interesting. And yeah, I think you see a lot of hard racing there, a lot of rubbing, a lot of banging. So ultimately the strongest pairing is going to come out on top.
So you talk about the full season championship, and you also talk about the Sprint Cup as well. Kind of explain the Sprint Cup championship in a way of how different it is from the full season championship.
Yeah, so basically in the WeatherTech championship, we have different formats of races. So we start with our Super Bowl in a way, the Rolex 24, which is a 24-hour endurance race. That counts for the full season championship and an endurance championship. We then have a series of endurance races throughout the season that also fit in that endurance championship: Sebring, Watkins Glen 6-hour, and Petit Le Mans, which is a 10-hour. So those all count for the full season championship and the endurance championship. Then we have sprint races, 2 hours and 40 minutes. which count either for the full season championship or just a sprint championship. So really, the sprint championship is basically gives an opportunity for teams to run in the series that don't want to run the full season and don't want to run the endurance races, whether that's for cost or for their driver pairings or whatever. So basically, I think it's maybe like 6 out of 8 races count for the Sprint Cup championship. So the basically whoever scores the most points in that comes out on top, and you can win your own championship without competing in the full season. For us, we want to win all 3 championships. We want to win the endurance, the full season, and the Sprint Cup. But right now we're leading the full season, which I guess is the main championship, which is always nice. It combines all of the races and all the different kinds of formats. I guess if you were to think about it like another sport, like an Indy car, you have ovals and road courses, and you have a full season championship. The Sprint Cup is kind of like a subcategory, like just winning the ovals or just winning the road courses.
Right.
So yeah, it's cool that IMSA does that, because I think it attracts a few other people to come into the series. But yeah, I think every race you show up to, you're trying to win, so it doesn't change much for us.
Of course, of course, your teammate is, of course, a absolute legend as well. Bill Oberlin, of course. Anybody that recognizes, fans of BMW know that name, of course, the winningest driver in IMSA. What has he taught you? What has he meant to you as a driver?
Yeah, it's been cool to be paired with Bill. We've become good friends over the years and have a good working relationship. The crazy thing for me is that, like I said, Lime Rock's been my home track, my home race. I used to watch Bill when I was 8 years old race at Lime Rock on the hill as a kid, and now I'm teammates with him. So it's a little bit surreal in a way, but yeah, he's been a great resource to me and been very generous with his knowledge. And ultimately, we've kind of contributed, together to the success of the team in the past couple of years. Obviously, he's had a very successful career before me, but it's been cool to be a very small part of his success in the last couple of years, and to experience his record-breaking win was a special feeling. It was I think surreal for everybody, and it was an awesome experience. That was an awesome weekend of VIR where we won. We basically swept the weekend, and to see him finally get that record and get that off his back was cool. And just hopefully we can win many more together and keep going.
And there's not going to be as many cars in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship this weekend. I think only like 13 or 14 are going to be in there. There's the big GTD class, and then I think there's the 3 GTLM cars. What's it going to be like what's the big thing that you guys got to do to get a win at Lime Rock?
I think, as you said, there's not a lot of cars, and they're all GT, so traffic is not as big of a situation, as big of a deal, which means there may be less yellows. So I think qualifying is going to be pretty important. Historically, it has been at Lime Rock. It's very hard to pass at Lime Rock. So if you can qualify up front, keep it up front all race, I think that's going to be the way to go. The strategy is interesting there because you can have a big fuel window. But having said that, it's all about track position. So you can be clever at times with when to pit and at what time, and when you're going to take on fuel, when you're going to take on tires, and try to undercut or overcut somebody. But I would say their speed kind of trumps all. If you qualify at the front, run up front really fast all day, you're going to be in great shape. So look for very tight, close racing where people are struggling to pass, and there's going to be maybe some bumping and banging. But I would say key to success and victory is staying at the front.
All right. Robby Foley of Turner Motorsport, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. Good luck at your home track, Lime Rock, this weekend.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.